Did she name all the kids? Did she name Bella and so on?
Yeah, Bella, because Italian means beautiful. Marie, mom's middle name. Celeste is her grandmother's name. Catherine is her middle name.
Did you have any input in their names?
I just told them I liked them. I was like, if we had a third child, I was gonna, maybe we could have like Lee in the middle name, but I knew like the girls' names. It was, I love those names, so I was like, that's cool. Especially like with the, you have little nicknames for them, like Belle and Belladine and Cece, obviously. It was good, but yeah, Nico was, it was okay.
Can we go back to the house on the 13th? So, at one point, right when you got back there, Coonrod was there, Officer Coonrod, and Nicole was there, and then you went in the house and you were for about a minute or so before you let everybody in. Remember what you were doing in there at that time?
So I went in through the garage,
right?
And then I ran around and I opened the front door.
Yeah.
Opened the front door for everybody coming in through the garage or the front door.
Everybody comes through the front door.
Yeah, so I came in, I went in through there, I came in, opened the front door, and I ran upstairs. I just was like I was looking around.
Okay. Was that's after everybody? Did you go around the house at all before you opened the front door?
No, I didn't run around. I was up there down at the bottom, on the bottom floor, and then went and opened the door.
Yeah. Okay. Just curious.
And I ran upstairs. Everybody else. That's when Nicole's son was on the phone, and I was going like it was walking through the house.
Yeah.
Shanann had her bra on. Was that normal that she would sleep in her bra?
Every once in a while. I mean, she just got home from the plane. She didn't even take off her makeup or anything. Maybe she was just that tired. But normally, no.
Did it not come off when you guys had sex?
I don't think so. Sometimes she just, she keeps her shirt on and she doesn't want me to do anything. Just like, she wants what she wants. She knew what she wanted. That's what she wanted.
Was it just missionary sex?
Yep.
And her final resting place, was that just naturally what she was wearing? You didn't change her or anything like that? Okay.
Did you have to see any of that stuff? Pictures or anything? No.
I asked not to.
Okay.
They said I could. I was like, no, I don't want. I prayed for those hazmat workers. That I'm sure it was hazmat, right? I have to.
You were part of it.
Yeah. And
We were all there.
We were all there.
I'm sorry. Guys, I never wanted to see it. I was praying because I was rather have to be there. So I never wanted to know what the aftermath was. They said like if it ever got like a preliminary hearing that I would have to see him just to be prepared and not have a reaction, an initial reaction. But I was like, I don't want to see him.
Do you feel like your lawyers were fair to you?
Yeah, they were my only human contact, really.
Yeah.
But they're kind of like almost like a guidance counselor, almost.
Yeah. Did you feel like you were driving the bus though, with your decisions you made?
Yeah,
or no?
I was like, there was a lot of things I didn't really know what was going on behind the scenes. Like
Sure.
maybe there was a lot of things they never told me. Like like stuff that came out like afterwards, like the whole Nikki Kessinger article with Ever Post and all that kind of stuff. They told me like afterwards and everything, but it was. I always felt like anything I was telling them, they were gonna do. Like the whole taking the plea deal and everything. I told them that's what I wanted to do, and they asked me like, I think like 100 times, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? Like once you sign this, like. I guess up until sentencing, I had the time to back out, but like they always, even before we walked in the courtroom, like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, this is it. Like, okay. They never told me this is what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
They always just said, this is your decision. Like if you want to take this farther, we're and John said he was right. He had all kinds of motions written, all kinds of stuff that were like really creative. And because he'd never been in something like this before, and he was ready to fight. I was just like, I didn't want you to have to do that. Not for me, not for something that the story isn't true. Because it would just only gotten worse
Right.
for everybody, for all three of you, for everybody that was involved in it.
Are you still glad you did?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd be in prison the rest of my life, but like I don't want people to have to keep going through this every day of their lives, knowing that, you know, there's a trial hanging over their head, or, I mean, if it never got that far, I don't know. Yeah. But, like, I didn't want people to have to relive it every day.
Yeah.
Did they have to ever see the pictures?
Say that again.
Did they have to ever see the pictures? Frank and Sandy and all that?
No. No, they never saw it.
They saw some things.
They didn't see anything with that.
Okay.
Yeah, we shielded that from them.
That's one thing I just didn't want them to have to see anything, or hear anybody talk about what anything, what any part of it. Or like, you know, anybody bashed their daughter, you know, like anybody in the room, like, you know, to hear what, you know, some of my friends had a negative, you know, impact on her, from her, or like had a description of her that didn't match, you know, something like that. I didn't want them to hear that either. Like, I didn't want, like, you know, anybody have to trash her memory. Like, I wanted, like, them to know, like, she's, you know, she's a loving wife, she's beautiful, she always helped everybody else, all her friends, her lucas friends, everybody. I just wanted, I didn't want anybody to take away what she did.
I tried to get you to say that night.
I know.
But, do you remember
I
that?
remember, I was just like,
I know you obviously weren't ready to say
I
that.
know, it's like, you know, like after my dad left, we both came in, like, all right, we got most of the story, let's get to the true story. I'm just like, I just wanted to bang my head against the table.
But in the end, I think you did the right thing. And even though it's hard to hear, there's a lot of people who thank you for what you did. You know, I think your whole life has been thinking of others, except for one brief moment. You know, I think you really did think of others when you made that choice. So I personally thank you, right? Because it would have been hard for the three of us to go through about this hard, and for everyone else about that hard, right?
Is anybody that was family or friends,
Right.
And, you know, just exponentially harder for everybody.
Yeah. You did the right thing.
So you haven't told your parents what happened, you just told them I'm pleading guilty for a reason?
Yeah, I've told them, like, on the phone, even, because they're still,
You should fight it, you should get...
they've got letters from, like, Australia, from England. I mean, that was, like, the 35C in Colorado and stuff, like, you know, proper counsel or something like that. Infected counsel. And, I mean, some of the stuff you know, they said about, you know, the dry patch, how it's not, like, FDA approved, how it can alter somebody's mind, like, there was some kind of condition, but there's something else they call, like, CPSD, complex, post-traumatic stress disorder, something like that. Have been, like, some people from England have had it. It's like, they've been in an emotionally abusive relationship and stuff like that. I mean, it's like, you know, some of those subjects they put in there, like, yeah, I can relate to it, but, like, it doesn't make up for the fact what happened. But, like, they've got a lot of support. They've got a lot of hate mail, a lot of phone calls, a lot of, like, you know, stuff like that. I wish they never happened. But they, you know, they give some support, which is good. But on the phone, they still think, you know, there's a chance I could get out.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to ever think your kid's going away forever. Like, you don't want to fathom that.
They tell me to fight it, like, you know, they don't fight every day, but on their bad days, they'll get a bad message or a bad letter, and I'll just kind of revert back.
Is it more your mom or your dad?
My mom, she loses a lot.
Yeah.
On the phone, my dad's usually trying to, you know, like, hey, don't talk about this stuff on the phone with him. Because it's just going to rile you up, and it's going to make him go back to his cell, and he's going to just kind of think about that all night.
Right.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Would you ever want them to know what you're telling us today?
I'd rather just tell them myself.
Yeah.
So if they're coming, I think they're going to try to make a visit in, like, May or so.
they don't, do they still think that Shanann killed her brother?
They still believe that, even though I told them I pled guilty for a reason, but they think that I was, their words like railroaded by illegal.
Yeah.
Because they, you know, they felt like they pressured me to do it.
Do you feel like that? No.
They asked me plenty of times. This is like, you know, they wanted to fight. Like if I said fight, they would have just, you know,
Put on their gloves?
yeah, just went in there and did it. You know, yeah, it's like, no, I can't have you do that.
So Chris, you care about others deeply. I can tell. You worry about others. And I've asked you, you know, a bunch of times today, but you're not just telling us that you did it because you feel bad for Shanann's memory. You did it. Okay.
I have to say, like, you know, after this was all over, you know, people would bring up, like, oh my gosh, I bet you're going to find out that Chris, you know, used to torture animals and, you know, all this stuff. You can imagine, like, you know, hearing that someone's capable of that, what have they done in their past, those kinds of things. Can you think back to your past at all, like your childhood, and think about any other moments that maybe you felt the same rage? I mean, obviously you didn't do anything like that, but maybe felt that rage and, like, what would have triggered that or anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I was always like somebody that tried to coax people down, not to like if somebody wanted to fight somebody else. I think I got in a fight like when I was in 3rd grade, but it was like, you know, we ripped each other's shirt when we went crying. You know, it was like stupid. I was just like, why did I do that? Like maybe that was like my only like bad thing I did in school. So I can't think of
Did you
anything.
feel it on the inside, whether you didn't act it out? Like, did you feel like if someone bullied you at school or if someone whatever, like, would it still be inside you? Like, did you feel like that even though you didn't actually act on it?
I don't believe, because I was always, you know, I never really talked to many people. So I mean, people knew who I was, but they didn't really, I mean, I never really spoke to many people. That's why I never had a girlfriend in high school. I mean, I was always kind of like, just fly under the radar.
Did you feel like you had low self-esteem?
I'll say low self-esteem. It was just like, I didn't want to be part of like a group or a clique. I just like, you know, I had a couple friends. I sat at the lunch table with them, or sat out, they call it like the fish pond area. You know, just chilled out there. You know, I didn't really want a whole lot of friends. Just kind of like just close knit. I just wasn't out there. I mean, like I said, people knew who I was, but it wasn't a matter of like I was popular or anything.
Can you attribute that to anything in your childhood? Why you were like
My
that?
sister was always the popular one.
Uh-huh.
She was more like my mom, like more like outgoing, and like me and my grandma would always sit outside in middle school waiting for her to come out and pick her up, and she'd always be the last one out. She'd talk to everybody in the hallway. And my grandma would always like, "Where's she at? Does she know we're waiting?" But you know, I was just the opposite of her. It's like sometimes you have kids that are like the same, and some of you have opposites. Me and my sister were completely opposite. Maybe I just drew on that I didn't want to be the popular one. I wanted to be just, you know, just a regular guy. So there was not really like bullying or nothing like I remember. Nobody ever really came up to me or wanted to fight me or
Never got made fun of, never...
I mean, I had braces and I had like a bowl cut for a while. I guess it could have made fun
I mean, most kids did.
80s and 90s are cool.
Yeah, it's like a Jim Carrey cut with a bowl on your head. Just carrying them around. But yeah, I don't think there was anything that would be pent up inside me from childhood.
I know you talked about your dad having an addiction when I was talking to you.
That was after I left, left home.
Was it cocaine or something, or?
It was some type of powder. I'm not sure if that
Okay.
was cocaine. I guess
How do you think that affected you?
I don't think it affected me at well, it did affect me, but it didn't like take like deep down. It didn't like really hurt as much as I thought it would. It was kind of weird because of my thing with my mom and my sister told me. Like when they talked to me about it, it didn't seem registered. Like I said, like he would just change subject. And like when I talked about it, he eventually immediately changed subject. I was like, because they found like, you know, cuts on his like CDs and stuff where he was like, you know, like separated and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He car dealership. I mean, five guys that do that kind of stuff all the time, I guess. But he was just coping with like I never came back home. And because before I met Shanann, and it was just,
Did you feel guilty that he's now using drugs because he never came back home, like he lost his kid?
I never really knew why he was doing it. After the fact, I knew it was because he was coping with that, but I never knew why he really actually turned to drugs. My mom thought he was having an affair because like, all this money was going somewhere else just for the drugs, but like I'm not myself, I never used drugs, so I always try to tell him like, hey, like what's going on, like why do you need to use this? And it's like you could use this for a whole lot better things, you know, just don't throw your life away. I mean, like, cause you could see in his face, like, you know, it's like eyes were like everything was getting like, you know, like the drugs through your face, and like your skin was getting all loose, and like he was losing a lot of weight. His nose was bleeding all the time, all kind of stuff like that. And I was just like, hey, you know, you smoked like every day of your life since you were like 15 or 16. Like, you know, I can't get you to stop that, but I can get you to stop this.
Right.
And he put us away, I guess, pretty quick after I talked to him about it.
Do you think you were closer to your dad than your mom? Yeah.
Yeah, we always went to races together, and you know, he always came to my sports, played a couple school sports, rec ball, all that kind of stuff, you know. My mom would come to sometimes, but my dad was always there.
Yeah.
Even if I wasn't playing, he'd just come there just in case. Like, I went in there.
Aww.
So, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I wondered if they hadn't visited because they weren't ready to visit, or if it was a money thing, or, you know, like,
Is it here or?
time off.
No.
Yeah, you. Like,
Is it here?
yeah, visit here.
Well, I just told him, like, well, we can't go out in the snow. So, it's not, like, you know, I don't want.
These roads are bad.
Yeah, it's, I think it's like an hour from either Madison Airport, whichever
Yeah.
way it is. I told him, like, wait till springtime.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal.
It was yesterday.
Do they have money to get here?
They sold my toolbox. Get some money to come out here.
Okay.
So, yeah, so they'll come out here, like, they said April, but I was like, no, just maybe push it till June. They said they come out and blizzard out here April.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, like the late spring blizzard, yeah.
So, lake effect stuff's crazy.
Yeah.
And how are you doing mentally?
I mean, the first time when I first came, I didn't know I was coming here. Obviously, I mean, when I was at the RDC, like, I
Swooped you up, didn't you?
was there a week. Like, first day I got there, they put me through the ringer. Like, I had like 11 tests to do. Like mental tests, like reading, math, all kinds of stuff to see where my IQ was. And then I just sat there the rest of the week, and then Sunday came along, and after dinner they said, all right, strip down and put this on. I'm like, okay. And then walked outside, put me in the van. It's like, good. I had no idea what was going on. And then we stopped at Sterling, which really freaked me out. I was just like, I don't want to do this, because I heard so many horror stories about that place. And they just stopped to use the bathroom, and then we kept going.
In the prison? Do they use the bathroom at the prison?
Yeah, it was like at the watchtower outside.
Oh.
And we went to Nebraska, sheriff's office there, and then another sheriff's office in Iowa, use the bathroom, eat breakfast, and then got here. I asked him, I only talked to him once. I'm like, can you tell me, like, where we're going? Like, just the destination state? He's like, I don't know. It was like one of those, like, transport vans, like, where it was, like, had just the middle where I was sitting there, and I could see out the window, and I could see, like, they would put in an address each time. Like, they had, like, 4 sets of addresses to each one they had to go to, and they just would never tell me where we were going to end up.
What did they say your IQ was?
I was like 140, 35 or something like that.
Is that high? I don't even know what.
That's good, that's above average.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was took me back to high school for real. I'm like,
Range parts of the city and all that stuff.
yeah, it was a lot of word problems, a lot of like geometry, a lot of like, you know, patterns. Like, if this was moved this way, and then there was like a series of them. Like, all right, what's this one gonna be? Just a lot of stuff like that. But like the further you got along, the harder it got. I'm just like, it's like great. It was like they give you this little thing. Take that pen and take the little tube out in the middle. That's where you're using to fill in these little Scantron sheets and everything. So I wasn't in high school yet.
Do you know how long you're going to be here? Neither do I, by the way. know, are you going to get a job?
Since I'm staying here, well, since I've gotten staffed here, that you have to work.
Oh, so what's your job now?
I don't have one yet.
Okay.
They haven't moved me out of the